Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's see how we can use tools in our Agno agent. The first video was about how you can create the agent and set up the environment. In this video, let's see how we can use tools, and I will be showing you with the 4 different ways how you can use the tools. The first one, let's go and create the custom tools. The second one is I will show you how you can use the tools from this toolkit. As you can see, here is the toolkit. The third one is I will show you how you can use the MCP as a tool in the Agno. And the last one, I will show you how you can use multiple MCP servers as a tool. So you can have multiple of those. And when you ask the question, the agent will decide which tool to call. That is the agenda of the video. Let's directly go into the code and get started. If you haven't followed the first video, I highly recommend you go through that, because I'm not going to go through the setup process again. As you can see here, this is the repository and I have already updated the code with this. We will be using this particular folder. If you go inside, I have these 4 different files, and that is where we are going to explore. Now let's get directly into the code and start looking how we can do it. I have already opened this in my VS Code. These are the files I showed you in the GitHub. But before going into that, I need to first run my server, because I'm running the LLMs with the help of Llama CPP. By the way, if you want to use OpenAI or Anthropic or whatever platform you want to, you can go through it. Please watch the previous video how you can set up. But here, as many of you requested how to use it using the open source model, I'm using this Llama CPP. I will go to this Llama CPP. You can see I was running there, but I will just open this Llama server. With this, the LLM will be served in localhost with the help of this, and with the package or the class that is available from this Agno library, we can point to this particular port. Now let's go into the custom tool first. That is the first tool that we are going to use. Everything looks similar, right? We need to first import the necessary packages. We import the agent here, and this is the Llama CPP that I was mentioning. With the help of this, we can connect to this LLM which is running locally. This is the number of stories. We want 10, or this you can just tweak whatever you want. Let's say we want just 5, for example. I'm taking the example from the Agno's documentation, so you can refer to that also. I have provided comments here and there, so it's easier for you to follow along. Yeah, you can see there is the response, and we are saying HTTPS. We are getting this particular URL with the JSON, and here we are saying response.json, the normal things. And here you can see we are just going through it, getting the responses. If text is in the history, then we are just doing the pop normal Python things. Now what we are doing here is we are returning these JSON.dumps, and this is the story, right? This is the function. One thing that what you need to be clear is, whenever we talk about tools, that is a wrapper, or let's say that's a function in a way, which acts as a tool for the LLM or the agent. For example, MCP, under the hood there are some API calls, and inside the API calls we'll create a function. Don't get confused with these tools, functions, and so on. Yeah, this is the function we have, right? Get a top hacker news stories, and now this is the part of the function. And here you can see I'm creating the agent same as before. This is the agent, and you can see all the different arguments that goes inside the agent. And this is the model that I'm passing the OpenAI's open source model, and these tools. In the tools, we are just passing this. You can see the function, nothing dramatic here. And now I'm saying markdown equals to true, and I'm saying here print. With this, what we are asking the question is summarize the top 5 stories on Hacker News, right? Now I can just save this. I need to run it. I'll open the terminal. I'll open the new tab in the terminal. I need to go into that particular folder. I am in the root folder. I will go inside tool use. And how we can run is uv run python 3. The name of the file is agentcustomtool.py, right? If I now run this file, you can see that agent will go and take the tool that we provided. So this is as simple as it gets, because this is a custom tool or function that we just created to extract the information and the thinking behind the agent. And you can see this is the equation, and here there is the thinking happening. I need to go and craft the things. and now it's still going. You can see the thinking process is still ongoing there. Yeah, there you go. And now once it is done, you can see there is this ranking, title, author, and there is even the link for that, and all sorts of things provided here. Here it says below is a quick rundown the current top 5 hacker news stories as of last fetch. You can see these are the 5 things that is being pointed. If I just go into this, you can see there is the articles, these things. This is how you just create a simple custom tool, right? Now let's get into the, because this one we need to write our logic ourselves, right? This is called the custom tool. But the thing here is we can go, let me show you the documentation from the toolkit. Here you can see there are toolkits, and inside the toolkits there are some of the collection of functions. As you can see here, the name itself, now a toolkit is a collection of functions that can be added. The functions in a toolkit are designed to work together, share internal state, and provide a better development experience. We can just take any of the toolkit from here. Now what I'm doing here is I'm taking the pre-built toolkit and using the hacker news tools. Before we created our own, but here we just import. I'm saying from agno.tools.hacker news, import the hacker news. You can see there is a class already provided by Agno's team, and what are all the different things that goes inside this class is all there. What we need to do, just import it, and we don't even need this load env because I'm using the locally running model. I'm just having llama cpp, that's it. And before we are having this model, now I'm just adding tools, hacker news tools. The difference between these two, you can see here, this is the logic that we have written. These kind of things is handled by Agno's team with this hacker news tool. You can see this is exactly the same arguments that we need to pass. We can ask the question, list 5 trending startups and products. I will just save this, and this is hacker news tools. Here you can see we said okay, hacker news stories, right? Now I will go into the terminal, and what I will do is instead of this file I will say agent with built, right? Pre, is it okay? There is 2 underscores, it is pre-built tool.py. So if I run this, now it should go to the same process, list 5. There is the thinking process happening, and now you can see here it says here we need to list top 5 could use recent news or general trendings, maybe from hacker news top stories. The user didn't specify the sources. We can this and top 5. And but here you can see there is this possibly use the get top hacker news stories to get the top stories. It is using one of the function inside that. Now you can see here is the answer. One thing that you need to notice is when you ask the same question to the agent again and again, the answer might be different depending upon the thinking process and all sorts of things. This is what you need to be careful when working with the agents. Now let's go into the third piece. Third piece is that now let's go and use MCP. I am not going into what is MCP and all sorts of things. I have created one video about MCP. You can go and watch, and there are tons of videos, materials out there. MCP enables agents to interact with external systems through a standardized interface, right? Let's just assume that we know MCP, and now we want to use MCP to enhance the agent, right? That is what we want to do, and I'm taking the example of the Agno's documentation here. Okay, so now let's get into the code using the MCP as a tool, which I just mentioned. I can go here. There is the import things as usual. Here I have this MCP tools, which I am importing. And now here I'm saying the llama CPP, the same model that we are going to use. And now we are creating a function. Here we are saying this async def main function where it is taking the message or the prompt that we provide. And then here you can see this is the MCP tools. We create the MCP tools and we provide the transport what we want to use, and we provide the URL. This is the docs.agno.com MCP server of the Agno that is provided by them. Now we need to connect. If you go to the documentation, this is the main documentation. You can see the flow. You need to find the server, initiate it, and provide the MCP tools to the agent, right? And there is this file example and all sorts of examples. But if you go down here, you will see how it is done, how the functions are created. Once you initialize it, you need to close this and all sorts of things. Step by step, it is mentioning the steps to connect to the MCP server so that you get the right responses. I will provide the link in the description of the video. If you are building something, I think it's better to also go through the documentation so that you know what to do and what not to do. There might be multiple agents or multiple MCP servers. I'll show you one example of a multiple MCP server also, but just as a simple note that please refer to the documentations because everything keeps changing now and then. Yeah, here is the thing I'm doing, and now here is the agent that is being created. I'm passing the empty MCP tools inside it, and now we are just printing the responses, and finally I'm saying okay, I need to then close it, right? Here I'm saying async.run, and there is this main function which we created here, and I'm passing the question what is agent OS in Agno. The thing is that this LLM which I am using here might not know what is Agno or what is agent OS because it is recently published. The idea here is enhancing the LLM with the information from this MCP server, so that first it calls the MCP server, gets the answer from it, passes that to the LLM, and then we get the answer. This is the idea of enhancing the LLM with the agent. So this is saved now. I will go to the terminal here, and then I will run the MCP server as tool. This is the code that we have just going through. What is the agent OS in Agno? Now you can see here it is doing the thinking. First we need to be sure in the thinking it needs to use a tool. For example, as you can see here, use markdown that was in the agent itself. Likely you need to search for agent. Use the search function. We need to answer what is this, summarize, you use markdown, and it is going through it, as you can see here. So it is even providing all the informations how to build it with the agent OS. It is providing us the answer, meaning it is going through it and it is providing the answer. That is what we need, right? Because now we are going into the documentation and writing code. If you are working with something you are not familiar with, you can just provide that as an MCP server and ask the question related to it, so it provides the answer. Now we can go with multiple MCP servers, and if you go into the official documentation also, here you can see there is this multiple MCP servers. You can just go through here. There are different ways you can do it. What I'm going to use this same approach that we just use MCP tools. We'll create two of those, pass that to the agent and ask the question. The agent needs to decide which tool to use. All the things are the same. Importing, there is nothing difference. Here also you can see the function, same function, but only I'm adding one extra tool. Here this MCP tools agent doc, I already had that before. Now I'm adding this Airbnb MCP tool so that it goes into the MCP of Airbnb API and get the answer for us. Yeah, everything is same. First you can see here I'm just saying here MCP Airbnb tool connect, and here I'm just passing this MCP Airbnb MCP tools this documentation, and this is the closing of it. And now I will be asking the questions related to the Airbnb. Let's see. I will save this, and now I will go to the terminal and run run python 3, and it is agent with multiple MCP server tool. It will go through this MCP server and find the right listing for us. Okay, so now you can see here in the thinking process, what was thinking, find two, thinking, okay, use Airbnb listing. This is we need to search via Airbnb search. Yes, it is going through this MCP server. Okay, Helsinki user wants Helsinki, still thinking, and now it lists this Old Town Studio, these things and all sorts of things. Let me see, for a day there is some notification coming with the RAM and so on. But yeah, now you can see there is this book early. December is a popular time. This verify confirmations enjoy. It provides us the two different stages with the Airbnb and the links. Now let me see what happens if I go here and then comment the Airbnb one, and I will say what is Agno. Let's see what happens. Because when I provide the Agno, then it should provide me the information from the Agno, right? It says thinking, okay, this. There is a tool for searching Agno knowledge base. We might want to use this dev search Agno to find relevant informations. Yes, it is the fast. This it went and it knows which tool it wants to use, and now it also provides us the official documentations and so on. So this is how you can use the multiple tools. I'm not going to go now through all of the tools inside it, but there are many other parameters also that you can use. For example, there is the concept of hooks that you can use. Learn how to use hooks to modify the behavior of a tool also, right? I'm not going to go into depth in this video, but maybe in the future, if some of you want me to explore that more, I will do it. But as I want this to be an introductory kind of video, so I will cover on the surface. It can be a custom tool. You can create a tool from the toolkit. You can have a MCP as a tool. You can have multiple tools, multiple MCPs inside the agent, and then agent routes to the right tool to get the answer. That is all for this video about the tools. And the next one, I'm going to create the video related to agent OS, because now we are asking the question in the terminal and so on, right? With the agent OS, we can have the functionality or the tool use that we had just now, but we can pass that to the agent OS. We will have a UI where we can connect to our local host. Then we can ask the question in the agent OS UI. It was just a chat functionality, but there are many things that we can do from the agent OS itself. For example, the knowledge and all sorts of things. Let's see how much of the things we will go through with the agent OS, but I will show you how you can connect your local running agent with the agent OS. So you can ask the questions, you can see from the UI what tool it use and how much time it take, what are the tokens and all sorts of things. Let's see what we can get from the. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.